Now let's look at some of the general hints for the IELTS speaking test. First of all, make sure that you learn to relax in the interview. Be prepared, be on time, and be ready for our interview. Remember to have your passport ready. 2 golden principles. First impression is the last impression. Make sure that right at the start, you start to answer questions which are as informative and as interesting as possible. For example, let's say if the examiner asks you about your daily routine. Do not simply say that, well, I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, I brush my teeth, I have my breakfast, and then I do this, and then I do that. Make sure that you talk about some interesting things, some creative things in your life. If the examiner asks you for your hobbies, do not just say, well, I like stamp collecting, and I like book reading, and things like so. So make sure that you are creative in the exam. Secondly, body language is extremely vital. Make sure that you sit comfortably and try to create an intelligent impression. Be keen to communicate at all times throughout the interview. Never ever reply yes or no to a question and then wait for the next one. Please note, the examiner is only there to guide us. Our goal should be to talk for at least 85% of the time. That means if our interview time is 15 minutes, we should really be talking for about 12 minutes or so. So that means we just have to keep on talking, and we have to come across as somebody who has got a lot of things to say about himself. Make sure that you use every question to prove that you are an interesting and an informed individual. Also, make sure that you sound positive about your past, about your present, about your future. Do not be negative. That is, if the examiner asks you about your job or about your studies, do not say that it's really hard, it's really complicated, and I don't know if I will ever find a job, and things like so. Now, what is the general answering technique in the IELTS speaking test? In an everyday conversation, we use short 1 or 2 word answers, but IELTS test is different. For example, in an ordinary conversation, if somebody asks us, where are you from? We usually get a 1 word answer. And then you have to ask another question if you want to get additional detail. Observe in this case, if this was an interview, the examiner has to ask a second question in order to get you to talk. So, how do we speak in the exam? This is how the official IELTS interview should be. Have a read of the question and the sample answer as well. So this is really how we should answer questions. It is brief but satisfactory, especially in first round. The examiner is unable to ask us further questions. So we have to make sure that we answer questions in as much detail as possible. Now mind you, if the examiner stops us, in that case we can simply stop and answer the next question. It does not mean that we are talking too much and that we are doing something wrong. Avoid using complex explanations in the speaking test, and try not to hesitate as well. In general, simple but accurate answers are much better than complex and inaccurate answers. So try not to memorize things for the speaking test. Just act natural and be yourself. So use every question to show your willingness to talk and show your positivity as well. Also, make sure that you speak louder to prove confidence. If you speak a little higher than your normal tone, you will see that it makes your pronunciation clearer and also shows your command on the language as well. If you do speak louder, it will inject a lot of confidence into your speech, and that is what we want. We want to come across as somebody who has a lot of confidence, as it will help us to gain a higher speaking band. Also, make sure that you have a strong opinion about things. Have a firm opinion about topics. If the examiner asks you a question, you should firmly take one side and then give reasons for that answer. So present your opinion and give reasons supporting your answer authoritatively. That will once again show our confidence to the examiner. And now we are going to look at some helpful hints for the first part of the test. Thank you for watching.